Hey everyone, this is Trader AG, and today I will run you through the trades that I took this week. It's 2 a.m. my time, and I said, what better time to record a weekly recap and give you my thoughts about my trading this week, what lessons I've learned, and what mistakes I've made, so that you don't make them in the future as well. This is not going to be my most watched video ever, but this will be one of those videos that I wish I had when I was first learning trading. So I hope some of you who want to be a full-time trader, who wants to be profitable in the future, actually watch through it. It will be a long one, but I promise you, if you just stick with it, you'll learn a lot, because I made some stupid mistakes, I made some good decisions, and overall, if you're willing to learn the results, I have won 4 trades, I have lost 2 trades, and I am up 5.5 R in a week that was deemed as a hard week because we had a major move and then we had a major turn in the trend today. So I'm just gonna run you through what happened and how I approached the week, how I won these trades, how I lost these trades. Because again, like, some people love to say that trading is easy, or trading is something that everyone can do, or just fucking draw this line right here, like trend line here. Just if you break the trend line long, but unfortunately it's not like that, right? And I have had this situation when I was first starting as well, where like everyone made it simple for me, but it's actually the opposite, where like the thing that you're lacking is amount of information on the chart. So hopefully after watching this video you will have a good understanding of how much it takes to win, because that's what matters at the end, right? Everything that we do in the market is about winning, and I'm going to talk you through more about that in the video. But I think let's just run through the first trade first of all. Now, the first trade actually came in on NQ. That was my first winner of the week, and if I go back on time, you'll see that this was a trade that I took, and you're going to see how the mistake that I made actually that day, and also how what I could have done differently. And quickly, if I just zoom in on this one, on the 1 minute chart, if I go back and back, you'll see that this was the trade that I took that day. Again, this was shared with the tag team on the time as well on Discord, and I could have won a lot more, right? That's the first thing I can tell you, right? look at the amount of move that I missed. Like, when I won this trade, this was a 1.5 risk to reward ratio trade, and I could have won 6 risk reward ratio trade. But the thing is, I don't get mad about these stuff, because when you make money, when you have a system and it just works, you don't usually get mad, because after doing the same thing for the last 4.5 years, you end up realizing that sometimes you're going to miss on a majority of the move, but as long as you have a good system in your hand that you can literally just copy every single day or every single week, you're good, right? You're gonna make money. So this one here was a good trade that I took, not here, by the way. I don't want to tell you wrong. This is when I took it, and the reason why this was such a good trade was because at the time I was looking for 2 liquidity zones in the market. Number one was this one right here. This was a Asia session liquidity zone here, and the second one was this low right here, which was again the Monday low that you can see there as well. So what I was looking for is, when that New York session opened up, I was looking for either of these lows to be swept, and luckily we had this low swept that day. And for me, trading NQ is a bit more different than trading the Bitcoin, because I look for different confirmation, I look for different things. And for me, why I entered this trade here was because this is when we saw an engulfing 5-minute candle. And for me, that was my confirmation to enter the trade, because we saw the liquidity sweep of an Asia low, and then we saw an engulfing candle, and this all happened during the New York Open. So that was my 3 confirmations, right? We're seeing a sweep of a certain session low, we're seeing an engulfing candle, and then we're seeing it on the correct time zone, which is the New York Open. And if you want to see the engulfing candle, I'll quickly go back here. Actually, I can't do that now because I need the version of that one. I'm not going to buy it now, maybe on the next video. But this was a trade that I took after seeing that 5-minute candle. Actually, I can just zoom back. This is not a video that I'm making fast anyway, so I might as well go back to show you when I actually took the trade. So here you can see that I don't actually enter the trade when we first sweep the low. When I enter the trade is when that 5-minute candle closes, right? So here you can see when that New York session opened up, we saw the sweep, and after the sweep, when this candle closes here, and this is a bit slightly higher like this. So when this candle closes, this is a classic engulfing candle on the 5 minute, and you'll see these a lot on the New York sessions. And after this, I take the long position here. I put my stop below this low right here, because if the price comes down again, the chances are we're going to be sweeping this low next, which I don't want to be the guy who is in the trade for too long. And at that point, I have my target as this side right here, because this is where the main liquidity is at the point. And I go in the trade, I take my profit here, I just full TP here, I make my money, 1.63 RR. Actually, it was lower for me because my entry, my get out position and all the fees added up to 1.3 RR rather than 1.63. And this is the first trade I took. It was a really simple one on New York session, and this is a really classic pattern that you can basically trade every single week as well, with a really easy validation of the move. And again, as I told you, I missed out on the majority of the uptrend, but am I sad about that? No, because again, you're gonna miss moves. You're gonna miss a part of a trend either way. If you trade for a long time, you're gonna see a lot of moves where it moves, $2,000, $3,000, and you're gonna miss out on some, and that's life. You just gotta be acceptant of the fact that you cannot take all of the, you can't just squeeze the market. You just gotta have a system that works, and it'll be good for you. So this was the first trade, and here you can see I have marked the entry, my take profit, my stop loss, my target, and my risk reward ratio in as well. This is something that I do every single week. I hope you do as well, because this is the best way to actually understand what went good and what went bad in your trading week. And I told you, London session, oh, it wasn't Asia session, it was London session liquidity grab at New York Open, engulfing 5-minute candle, and then I'm in trade. So this was my first winner, and then the second trade came in on Bitcoin here at 78,778 here. If I go up and open up the Bitcoin chart now, on the perpetual Bybit one, we'll see the second one here. Well, let's see where that one is. Was it this one? No, we are actually on the wrong time frame here. I think we have to go back a lot more, because this was on the oh, actually no, I was wrong. It was this one right here. So let's run through it. Right here, I'm going to zoom in on this one because I want you to see how I entered this one. So this one was a bit more interesting, because the reason I entered this trade was this week I was really bullish. And another thing that you can see from my trading this week is that all the trades that I took this week was longs. I was completely focused on longs, and the reason was because last week we had a really bearish week, and when we have a week where everyone is really bearish, when we see a lot of FUD in the market, people are shorting the market, the first thing I look for is how can I enter longs? Because I know for a fact that if we are seeing a lot of FUD in the market, and if you're seeing a lot of the retail leave the market, it will just give me more opportunities to enter the market, because that's how the market works. When the narrative is the worst, you usually end up having a good bullish week. When the narrative is really good and everyone is bullish, you usually end up having a really bad week. So that's why it's really important to actually create a certain bias from your own perspective, but also have some certain entry triggers or confirmations before you enter as well. So you can see here 6 trades, all of them were longs. And the reason, by the way, on Bitcoin as well, every trade that I took was a long, was because of this range right here. This was a range that I gave everyone on, I think, the end of March here. I can quickly show it to you as well here. If I just zoom in on this one here and I go back. So this is the range we have on Bitcoin, right? So this started on the 28th of February. So it's been like 1.5 months now. And we had a clear high because we have a lot of resistance above the high, and we have a clear low because we had clear support below the low. Now, on Sunday night, when we had this big move, what we did was we hit a major level at the low, and that was a weekly MPOC level sitting at 74,800. So it was sitting here, and if you have watched my last video, you now know that one as well. And I'm going to just mark it hit so you can know that this was actually put in here. So on Sunday, we hit this level, and after we hit that level, we were actually trying to get back inside the range. And for me, when we're at range low and we have this major move down on Sunday, all I'm looking for is longs, because why would I try to short support, right? So either I'm going to be sidelined in the market, which is an option that can happen, or I'm going to be looking for, or I'm going to be in long position. So in this case here, all I was looking for was potential entries on longs, and my first one came in at 78,750, was it? Something like that. And now let's go over why I took that trade, because that was a pretty good entry, and I could have won more on that one as well, but this is the market. Sometimes it's not going to give you the best entries. Sometimes it's going to stop you out before you make money. But here you can see that I've entered the market on this push right here, and I have entered it on this one here. Oh, sorry, at this one here after we took this high. And after we took the high, my plan was to take it to 81,300, and my take profit one was sitting at 79,800. So the price came in and pushed up, hit my take profit one, I made the money. My take profit two and my target was sitting literally $80 above the high here, and unfortunately came in, missed out by $80, and then just came down and hit my entry. So kind of sucks, but that's life for you. Again, as I said, like if you have a good system in your hand, you're not going to be mad about these things because it happens, right? And the reason I took this trade was because on extra charts, if I go back on the time here, you'll be able to see that on this move here, we saw a lot of bullish divergences here. So here you can see that the CVD here is making lower lows while the price is keep pushing higher, which shows me that the retail is shorting this market. Here you can see that the CVD is making lower lows here, which is a sign that the retail is shorting, but there's a big player who is holding up the market and just keep limit longing the market. And if you don't want to see that line, if this is cleaner for you, the third row here is a CVD. So here you can see the cumulative volume delta here is 41 million negative. And here, when we're making a higher low, the cumulative volume delta is negative 51 million. So there has been 10 million more shorts coming in from here to here, but the price is making higher lows. How can that be possible? Well, the way it's possible is because a bigger player is entering the market in limit orders. That's how the price is keep going higher while the retail is shorting the market. So for me, when I saw this candle break, this high broken, that was my entry trigger to enter the market with a long position, and that's what I did. And I took profit at 79,700, and then my take profit was literally, as I said, $80 above the high here. Sad, but happened. So that's how I missed out on a bigger winner here, but that's life for you as well, as I said. So here on the preview here, you can see that the RR win on this one was 0.81. Could have been a lot better, but I explained here as well, failed auction from the big range with reclaim of resistance here. So that's what I was looking for. The resistance here was a previous day's point of control that I was just waiting for the price to go above. And when I saw that, entered the market, took profit on a $1,000 move, and then couldn't unfortunately hit that one. This target is wrong. I have to change this one actually. It is 81,300. I tried to do the ES thing here. It just stuck here. So that was my second trade. And the third one was a loser. That was my first loser of the week. I think that was a good trade as well here, but unfortunately it did not play out. And let me tell you why. So third one was the one that took the longest this week. And it took me to lose the trade. How long? Let me see. It took me from Monday 7 to Wednesday 9. So it took me 2 whole days before I lost money on this trade. And that is extremely frustrating if you don't know it yet, right? If you're holding a position for 2 days and you lose the trade, it sucks. You know what sucks even more? Well, my take profit one on this trade was above this high right here. So again, we came in around $300 next to the high, and then we didn't hit my take profit. So that sucks even more. But again, this is trading, and this is why I'm making this video for you as well, because I wish someone told me these things earlier in my life. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be, a dream life, or it's not going to be a scenario where you win all of your trades or everything goes to plan. Sometimes the price will just go really close to your take profit, won't hit it, come back, stop you out, right? On this one here, I had my take profit one here, you can see it as well, at 81,300. It went up to 80,900, couldn't hit my take profit one, and went down. So it's just what happens in the market. And then The reason I took this trade was the same reason I took the trade this here. First of all, we are at range low of this master range, so I'm only looking for long positions. And second things is that if I go on XO charts, you'll be able to see here that the divergences was actually getting bigger here, right? So I went down too much here. So here, when I entered the market, you can see that the CVD keeps making lower lows here. Actually, I'm going to show you on the, I think, the marker scale. It will be easier to see. So here you can see the CVD is making lower low here, while the price is making a higher low. So this was my entry trigger to enter the market here. And if you want to read the numerical scale here, this here CVD was negative $35 million. And when I entered the market here, it was negative $42 million. So $7 million of shorts added to the market here, but the price is making a higher low. So that was my entry trigger here, because I thought to myself, well, we're at range lows and I'm going to just take every opportunity I can to long the market, because I know for a fact that the chances are we're going to just go to the middle of the channel here. And that's why I longed the market. I was right about my assessment, and we actually ended up making a move higher after this point, but unfortunately, again, it missed my take profit one by $400, and then it went down and stopped me out at this point here as well. Now, there was a mistake I made here, and that mistake was that I could have prevented this loss. This was my first loss, and usually with the losses I take on the market, I am extremely okay with them, and the reason I'm okay with them is because I trade my strategy. I trade and put my take profit, stop losses based on my strategy, and I'm okay with losing money. But the reason I could have prevented this loss was because I was not confident enough to put my stop loss below this low instead, right? So when you see those divergences, what you should do is put that stop loss below the pivot low that we have. Rather than putting it below the pivot low, I put it below this low here, because I thought to myself, well, if the price comes down here and loses all of the support we have here, the chances are it's going to take the low. Well, I should not have assumed that, right? And as someone who has been trading for the last 5 years, I should not make that amateur mistake. And this was a classic amateur mistake that you make as a beginner who just assumes things. And this is another case where I'm telling you that even as a 5-year veteran, even though I'm not a veteran, you make mistakes that you shouldn't make. And this was one of them. And I'll make sure on the next week or the upcoming weeks, I'm not going to make the same mistake again. If I lose a trade because my strategy gave me a loser, I'm completely fine with that. But I'm not fine with losing trades because I didn't listen to my own system. So here, I did not listen to my system and I got punished by it, which I kind of like, because again, it's a winning week for me. I am up a lot, so I'm kind of okay with losing this one, because it's just a learning curve where I just journaled this trade as well. And I said, well, if you were just smart enough to put your stop loss where it should have been, you would not have been stopped out. Here you can see this was a pretty wild week where we came really close to the low here, missed it by $100, and then just moved up. And literally, it would have been a winner for me. As you can see here, it would have gone up to 81,300, and I would have had a winner. So does it suck? It does suck, but important thing is I've learned again that I should not do this, and I smacked myself on the head. And I can promise you that I'm not going to make this mistake for a while, because I've been punished by it, which is kind of good, especially when it's a monetary punishment. So yeah, that was my third trade of the week, which was a loser that I could have prevented. And then my fourth winner came in, which was the biggest winner of the week for me, which came in on the Wednesday. I think this was the day, yeah, we had the Trump announcement here, right? On the morning, we had Trump saying to the people that this is a good time to buy. And I don't know why he said that, but I mean, I guess it was. And here you can see that I entered the market here at 77,700. And the reason why this was a good long was because we were trapped that day between the weekly open and the daily open. And I've shared that on Twitter and on the tag team as well, that wherever this price breaks next, it will be a major decider on where the price goes. Right, so I think the weekly open was coming around 78,700, and that daily open was coming around 77,200. So the reason why that was so key was because if we are starting to lose momentum on this move, which we started from a week low, don't forget that this was a week low because we didn't take the low here. we had a higher low, but this is a classic higher low that is usually going to get taken eventually. So when you have those lows in the market, what you're looking for is a market structure where it's like just highs and lows, highs and lows. You don't want the market to do this when you have a weak low, right? So you don't want the market to just keep doing this, because this will just give more opportunities for the market to just push lower. You just want strength on the move, and the reason why you want strength is because you want people to miss out on the trade. The reason why these lows are so important is because when you have a weak low, you want to move to be strong and you want to move to be fast, because you want people to miss out and then join at the highs. So here, I wanted the market to just keep making higher lows and just push through that weekly open, and that's exactly what we had here as well. When I saw that the price did not have any more resistances above the price and we were breaking above the high that we had here, I entered the market at these lows right here at 77,700, put my stop loss below this low right here, because again, if we are starting range here, does not support my thesis that this is going to go higher. And then I had my take profit and my last target as this 81,300 that I was aiming for basically all week. The reason I was aiming for this one was because, again, it's the new weekly high and it's a good place for me to take profits, because as we're making new highs in the market, that means that my thesis was right. And when my thesis is right, I want to make money. So this was a 3.62 risk to reward ratio trade, and I won it, and it was a pretty cool one. And I unfortunately couldn't win 3.62. I ended up winning 3.51 because of the fees and stuff, and you can't just leave the market at the exact price, unfortunately. So that was my biggest winner of the week, and I'm not going to tell you how much that was, but if you are a tag team member, you already know. I have shared that with there, but it was a good amount, right? It was an amount where I was happy with. And then this today I had another loser, and unfortunately this was another one that I think I could have prevented, right? I think both trades that I lost this week I could have prevented with just smarter management, even though it was a big winning week for me. It's 5.5 R win for the 4 days that I've traded. But actually, let me come back to that one later, because I want to go through the NQ one first, which was it on Thursday, or when was it? Oh yeah, this one again. You'll be either laughing at me on this one again, or you're gonna be like, well, that's what happens. And this one again, here you go. The reason I took this one was because we saw strength on the move here, and what I was telling to people was, if we go down here, what I'm looking for is for these lows to be taken. This was a liquidity zone for me when the price was ranging at these levels. What I look for here is for this low to be taken, or this low to be taken. And when the price started to move down, I said to myself, okay, well, the price is moving lower and the price took this liquidity here. I'm not going to be entering the market at this point here, because it might just go down lower and take this liquidity. But if we end up going higher, I will have a point in my trading that, okay, if we go above it, I'm looking for longs. For me, that level was the POC of this range right here. I'm going to quickly show it to you as well. Fixed range volume profile, like this. So this range was the range we had on the morning that day, and I said, okay, if we are able to go above the POC of this range, that becomes a really good level for me to actually start looking for long positions. Before we took that POC level, it's still looking bearish here, right? Because we have a high, lower high, a lower high, and we're just grinding down. But after the NY session opened up, we started having this big move here. And at this point here, when during the New York session, I said, okay, we are above the point of control, and I can just start looking for new highs to be made, and also the 1700, 500, which is a big psychological level. And I've entered the market, and when I saw that break at 17,295 here, and after I entered the market, right here, the market started to pump, went up literally in like 3 minutes or 4 minutes into the chart, and then took my take profit, and then I just left the market there. And it was a pretty easy trade for me, and the reason why it was really easy, actually, I think my take profit 2 was a bit higher here, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me quickly check it to see that I'm not lying to you. Yeah, 17,737. So it was actually above that level. So it was 17,37. So the trade was originally like this. My take profit one was at 17,500. Again, this was shared with the tech team on Discord as well. And I told my team that I'm looking for this level next, and the price moved up, hit that level, and then came down, stopped me out at entry, and then, well, should I even say it, right? Like, look at the move that I missed on this one, right? Like, if I was man enough to hold it, I would have had a 30 risk to reward ratio winner. But unfortunately, that's not how the market works, right? Like, I can be saying to myself, oh, you missed out on a big week, you missed out on this massive trade. But the thing is, I did not miss out on anything because I just trade my strategy. And I've been doing the same thing for the last 4.5 years, and it's been just making me money, and there is no reason to complain. Like, you might miss out on some potential on a certain week, but if you're making money consistently, you will never feel like you're missing out. And that's a good lesson for you to have as well, maybe as a novice in the market. If you ever feel like you're missing out, the reason that you feel that way is because you don't have a system in place. If I told you that, if I gave you a dice and told you that 1, 2, 3, and 4 is yours and 5 and 6 is mine, and I told you that you can roll it as much as you want, when a 5 comes, you're not going to feel like, you missed out. You're not going to feel like, oh, how can this happen? You just know for a fact that if you have enough volume, if you just roll it every single day, if you roll it as much as you can, you're going to keep making money because statistics is on your side. And that's how it works for me as well. The reason I don't feel like I missed out on these trades is because I've been doing it for the last 4.5 years. And I will keep doing the same thing for the foreseeable future as well. And again, just to pitch you my own tag team, if you are willing to learn, if you want to have these analyses every single day, if you want to learn how to trade, you're more than welcome to join there. I have an educational program of like 5 hours there, and also I'm on there 24/7 basically, so more than welcome to join. I'd love to have you there. But back to this. So that's why I don't feel like I've missed out, and I just made money on this one, right? So let's see what I made on this one. I made 1.33 risk to reward ratio trade here. Again, I could have made more, but the fees and how you leave the market and everything like that, it just cuts off some of the winners there, unfortunately. But yeah, so that was my third winner of the week. And then my fourth one was the one that I told you about on Bitcoin here at this one right here. The one that I showed you, that was a 3.51 winner. And then the last one I took was actually today, and I lost that one. And I had a bias today that we were going to push higher. And the reason I had that bias was because we had a big pump, as you know, yesterday. And after that pump, I told myself, well, if we have this pump, and if the price is making this formation here where it's staying above the single prints here, so this here is a pump that had no support here inside because it's such a volatile and a fast move that when you're back inside this zone, it just acts like a vacuum, right? So when you have a price of inefficiency, you might call it a fair value gap, you might call it a single print, you might call it whatever you want. When you are back inside that zone, you usually vacuuming go back to the original price because there is no support build on at these levels. So what I said was I will mark the level that started and ended this move, and that's what we call the single prints here. And the single prints on this move was actually starting around that 80,700. So I said if we are able to bounce from this level at the top of the single prints, that is a good sign of strength. And when I saw this bounce right here, I entered the market here because I saw a good bounce. I saw some shorts coming in here, and I said, okay, well, if we're able to hold on to this level right here, this will be a good level to just keep pushing higher. And I was aiming for potentially to go and take my trade to $90,000. And did it happen? No, we went down here, but again, it was part of trading. Am I sad about this trade? No. And the reason I'm not sad is because the same reasons that I told you about, right? So if I go and look back on what we had today, right here, what you can see here is that when we made that low here at these lows, you can see that we had a lot of shorts coming in at the lows here. Like these are the market sell orders that's coming in the market. So there's negative 2.1 million negative delta here at the low, and these are short orders coming in. And how do I know that? Well, it's negative delta and it's with increasing open interest here, right? So I know for a fact that these people who have shorted the market here are now trapped in their positions. And I don't just enter the market when I see this. I actually waited until we had a reclaim of the range here. So I'm gonna go on the 5-minute time frame here, and like so. So I waited until we had the reclaim of this range right here, right? So you can see that when we're back inside the range here, this is why I entered the market. I didn't just enter when I saw the trapped positions, I entered when I actually saw that they were trapped. But the problem here was that we actually had some trapped positions at the highs here as well, which caused a double situation here where like we had long trapped here, we had short trapped here, and unfortunately I was on the end that lost money on this trade as well, which happens. But this was not a trade that I'm ashamed about, or one that I'm sad about, because this is a part of my strategy. When I see trap traders, when I see a reason to bounce, and when I have a clear target and I like the risk reward ratio on a trade, I just take it, because I know for a fact that if I take this trade 1,000 times, I will win 800 times. So same concept as a dice, right? If I have a dice and if I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I lose at a 5 and a 6, I'm not going to be sad when a 5 rolls. So same for this one as well. When a 5 rolls like this, I'm not sad, because I know for a fact that if I just roll it enough times, and I know I will have the time to roll it enough times, because I have, number one, good risk management, and number two, no desire to leave the market. So when I have these in my hand, I know that this was a good trade, but it just ended up as a loser, right? And I can understand why as well. The reason why this lost was because it was a situation where we had long trapped here, short trapped here, and the market decided to move down. Why did it move down? I think one of the main reasons was because NQ and ES was bearish today. And I told my team that as well, that I could have taken this position a bit later. So I could have waited until ES and NQ was showing signs of strength in the market as well. But again, at the end, like, I can make that excuse, but I don't think it's a worthy excuse, because if I went back in time, would I take this trade again? Yes, I would. So that's what it comes down to. So yeah, that was my week. I had 4 winners. I had 2 losers. I am up right now 5.5 R, and that is a good week for me. And again, I'm not making this video to brag or boast about my wins. I'm making this video to show you that if you want to win, if you want to be profitable, you just need a system, right? You don't need much in life. You don't need much in trading. You don't need a trend line. You just need a system in place where you know for a fact that if you apply that system enough times in the market, you will make money. And that's how what I have in the market as well. So and it could be something really simple as well, right? Like if you know that there's a trend line in the market, and if you can just draw it, and when it's above the price, you just long, and you know for a fact that it makes you money 7 out of 10 times, that's a system as well. And the one I have is just a high win rate system. And if I take the trades that I take for the next 10 years, I'm gonna make money. So I hope you understand why I'm making these money, or how I'm profitable in the market. It's not because I have a magic wand or I know what's gonna happen in the future. I just have a predictable system which makes me money every single week. So I hope that was clear for you. This was it for me, and if you like these videos, I would love for you to give a like, and I would love for you to comment as well that you like this one, because if I see some interactions, if I see people actually enjoying these videos, I would love to make more next week or upcoming weeks. It would be an honor. So thank you so much. If you're willing to join the community we have around 30 people in the community, where we just learn how to trade order flow and trade ranges, and I'm on there 24/7. You're more than welcome to join the tag team. The link is in the description. If not, I'll probably see you on the next video or on Twitter. So yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.